Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to the Rotary Club of Fort Worth. For our invocation, let's welcome to the stage Connie Blake, President, Generational Designs, who will be followed by Wesley Gentle, Director and President, Arts Fort Worth, playing our national anthem. Ms. Connie.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, your commandments to us are simple, but not always easy. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy soul, and all thy mind, and love thy neighbor as thyself. We humbly ask for you to strengthen our hearts and minds and to uphold our Rotary ideals high in our lives, in our homes, in our work, and in our communities, and ever strive to advance goodwill in our country and all over the world. We ask you to bless this food for our use and us to your service. Keep us ever mindful of the needs of others. Amen.
We have some extra special entertainment today, don't we? Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Wesley. Oh, I see we've got some Phantom of the Opera going on. Ah, nice. Now, to welcome our visitors is Melissa Harris, Financial Advisor with Edward Jones.
Good morning, everyone. And Wes, thank you for that extra special entertainment. That was awesome. So we have a lot of visitors today. So when I say your name, just please stand and wave so that we can properly welcome you. Karis Miller, guest of Daily Miller. John Kirk, guest of Corey Harris. Les Jordan, guest of Alana Long. Cash Barker, guest of DG Andy. And then we have our Tarrant Area Food Bank visitors today. So I'm just gonna say all of your names at once and then we'll just do a big old round of applause. So Tom Hungerford, stand. Vicky Martinez, who's a Denton Rotarian. Valentine Aguilar. Christy Lara. Kennedy Hill, another Denton Rotarian. Mark Jones, Diana Gardner, and Viviana Mendez. Welcome. We are so glad to have you here, and I'm going to embarrass my 9-year-old son. He is here because apparently people don't have school anymore. So Liam, we're so glad to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Great job. And welcome to all of our visitors today. We're thrilled to have you join us. It's that time to recite our 4-way test. This 4-way test is a roadmap for how we as Rotarians conduct our lives. Not just here between ringing of the bell at lunch, but throughout our days and all the interaction we have with one another. To our visitors, you can join us by viewing the screen. First, is it the truth? Second, third, will it build good, will and better friendships? And fourth, To all concerned. Thank you, everyone. Are you ready? Here we go. The Phantom of the Opera. It's time for the newscast. Let's welcome the multi-talented Wesley Gentle, Director and President, Arts Fort Worth. He will be making his way shortly. Here we are, everyone. The music starts, Phantom of the Opera.
Ooh, this music is very quiet. 11 days from now, you'll watch the news, waiting to see which states swing red or blue. And when you shut your eyes, still you will find the phantom of election day is there inside your mind. It's funny, right? Commercials on the screens, signs on the lawns. One party makes you scream, one makes you fawn. And when you bite your tongue, online you'll whine. The phantom of election day is here, inside your mind. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is, of course, Phantom of Election Day, and you all have made me feel about as welcome as my great-great-great-grandfather felt at a Parisian opera house. I come from a long line of phantoms, clearly, and for decades, my haunt has been the partisan divide that runs through this country's Republican democracy. I love my job, and my work is not hard. All I have to do is whisper a simple little word like, economy, the economy, the economy. And your head starts spinning like that kid from The Exorcist. And you tell yourself a ghost story about how that one party doomed us back then, and they'll doom us again, and, well, I don't mind living rent-free in your mind for months and months and months and months and months and months and months on end. But lately, I've been exhausted. You've been working me overtime. Rushing back and forth between the political aisle, making up crazier and crazier stories about that party and that party, with no political middle ground for me to stop and relax in. So I'm here with two very simple requests to make this spooky season a little less of a kooky season for yours truly. First of all, it's simple. Go vote. 100% of you in Tarrant County have an opinion about politics, but my crystal ball says only 7% of you voted in the last May 4 election. Now, don't be like that ingenue that screams and screams while Michael Myers slowly staggers towards her. Take a minute, read a voter guide like the one you might find on the League of Texas Women Voters online. Look up one of the many polling locations. I'm sure there's one near you open till 5 p.m. today and open all the way through November 1st. And go vote. Take a friend. Thank those kind polling people who choose to be there day after day after day, and then go reward yourself with a cup of coffee or tea from a local business. Just vote. But the second thing, and this is important, I know my job is to terrify you with misinformation and sensationalizations of all sorts of things, but I've always been going for more of a funhouse scare, you know, something like a carnival spooky boo. But we've turned this whole thing into some sort of zombie apocalypse blockbuster. That's not how it's meant to be. Wasn't it just a few months ago that Fort Worth's very own Professor Jim Riddlesberger addressed this club and said that, and warned us in fact, laughter is the only way to survive the never-ending election cycle. So don't let somebody get under your skin just because they think something differently than you do. And certainly, don't forget that our elected officials are just strange, quirky people like you and definitely like me. We can and we should laugh at our goofy governments. Laugh with me. Please laugh with me. So all I ask of you is to vote and move on. Turn your mortal dread into an afternoon of reading to second graders. Pick up some trash in a park, or go enjoy a live theater performance. Just nothing by Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, if you please. Weather this weekend will be, hopefully, ghastly. But remember, there's only 11 days until election night.
We're working on this. Thank you, Wesley. It's time for announcements, everyone. We have two announcements today. First up, we have Russell Jacobson with Financial Planning Advisor, Astoria Strategic Wealth Communications, and Ryan Barrera, Chief Advancement Officer with Campfire First, followed by Edward McLinn, Insurance Consultant with Champion Commercial Insurance, and Brenda Beveridge, Major Gifts Officer with JPS Foundation. Please make your way to the stage.
Hi, I'm Russell Jacobson. Ryan couldn't be here today, but I'm speaking on behalf of our Community Outreach Committee. We're going to be doing another service event. We're partnering with TWU and southeast side of Fort Worth to do some lot cleanups. Largely, it's a beautification project of a small park that they have over there near the campus. We're going to be involved with some different community members over there, as well as some of the students that are going to be volunteering. It's going to be on Friday, November 8th. It should only be about 3 to 3.5 hours because we already have a decent amount of support from TWU and the community out there. But we're going to have coffee and breakfast in the morning. If you can't make it to lunch here, we'll also have complimentary lunch for everybody. But that's Friday, November 8th from 8 to probably 11:30. Thank you, guys.
Ed, I feel like this is Phantom of the Opera 2, the play.
Yeah, it's a hard act to follow.
Yes.
No pun intended.
Ed McGlynn.
Yes, Brenda.
Oh, this is my line, I'm sorry. Hey, Ed. Hey, Ed, you party animal. What has the social committee been up to lately?
Brenda, I am so glad you asked. We have lots of activities planned. I think even your cowboy husband will enjoy them.
What? What's coming up next, Ed?
Brenda, I'm so glad you asked. Next Tuesday, October 29th, we'll have Rotary After Hours convening at Courtside Kitchen, the pickleball place over on Rogers Road behind University Park Village from 5 to 7, we're doing something here, p.m.
Oh, you know what, Ed? And for $25, that will include 2 beverages and a choice of delicious appetizers. Pickleball is optional. Please feel free to invite anyone that you might know that might be interested in checking out Rotary membership.
It'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see everyone there. Brenda, what else do you have?
Ed, I'm so glad you asked, Ed. Next up, we have another outing to Casa Mañana on Wednesday, November 13th, for their production of a tuna Christmas.
Wow, Brenda, that's amazing. I've heard that is hilarious. I can't wait to go. How much are the tickets?
Ed, I'm so glad you asked. The Rotary ticket block is only $25. You better get your tickets today using the QR code on the screen or in the rotograph.
Oh, I will for sure, and I will see you on the pickleball court along with everybody else out there. Stay tuned, everyone. There is much more to come
from your
social committee. Hey,
Thank you.
hey, we tried. We're not professional actors.
Great job, everyone. Thank you, Russell, Ed, and Brenda. Now, does everybody have their pickleball outfit ready to go? Yes. There's something for everyone. Can participate, make your way out, and help clean up some of the areas we have in Fort Worth that we're trying to help, that economic development projects are coming to next, but also come together and socialize and meet someone new. You never know what you have in common. Now, please give a welcome to our Rotary Secretary, Christina Judge, Executive Director with the Mental Health Connection with 2 second readings.
I think you all should get an Oscar for that performance. Thank you. We have 2 second readings today. The proposed members are Alan Blaylock, title Senior Product Manager, company retired, classification telecommunications, proposer immediate past President Kirk Driver. I move his election subject to attending a new member Rotary information session.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Ayes have it. He's moving on. Pardon me, the ayes have it, and hereby elected. I was waiting for the second one, sorry.
Okay. The next nominee is Stacy Guillen Bridges. She is the VP of Client Relations for the CMP company. Her classification is Human Resources. Her proposer is past President Courtney Lewis. I move her election subject to attending a new member Rotary information session.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Thereby elected as a new member. Thank you, Ms. Christina. We love new members, everyone. Now, please help me welcome our chairperson of the day, District 5790 Assistant Governor, our own past President Sean Snell, Program Director with Executive Health Resources, who will introduce our very special speaker of the day, Ms. Sean.
Well, thank you. Hold on. So momentarily, I'm going to be presenting this Rotary Bell to our district governor. I'd like to read the inscription. It says, North Fort Worth Rotary, presented by Denton Rotary Club on April 25th, 1949. So it's really fun to look at. It's got a little bit of patina, and they particularly mentioned they loved it. They preferred it that way to show where it's been. Underneath, it does say Russell Hampton Company, Chicago, Illinois. It's a little heavy. In presenting this bell, I also want to pay tribute to the club. In current days, it's known as the Stockyards Rotary Club. And of course, Don Click is a past president of that club. That club was originally chartered April 5th, 1949, and it was sponsored by our club. Jack Edwards, a member, had chaired that sponsorship committee. And when we were remodeling the office in the last year or two, I coincidentally came across a program, which is on the screen, of the event that night. It says, presentation of charter to the Rotary Club. At the time, I think it had 3 names, Northside, Fort Worth, Texas. And we can see this event was at the Baker Hotel, April 25th in Mineral Wells, Texas. And, you know, we catch a glimpse of that Monday evening in another era as we opened the program. There were 25 charter members. Look at this list. We've got a banker, North Fort Worth State Bank. We've got real estate. We've got a printer. The club's first president, Dudley Hodgkins, was a printer with his namesake company at 834 North Main. 2 laundries, a principal from Washington Heights Elementary School, Charles Mullins from Mount Olivet Cemetery, an aircraft parts wholesaler, plumbing supplier, coffee roaster, and in true Fort Worth fashion, we had 4 oil and gas guys and 2 cattlemen, one from the Livestock Commission and Mr. Howard Jones, a manager at Swift & Company over on Exchange. Our own club member, William B. Todd, presented the charter. He was acting district governor that year, and he had been our club president from 1940 to 1941. And some of our members may well recognize the name. We call it the Willie B. Award. It is the highest honor our club can bestow on one of our own members for exceptional service to the club. And that is the Willie B. Todd Award, named after this district governor. And he went on to serve in RI as well. So this past April, the Fort Worth Stockyards passed their 75th anniversary. They particularly held on that one last year to mark their anniversary. But after thoughtful consideration over several years, they called it a day, and the club was officially terminated this past August. So upon that reflection, in July of 2023, in the last 15 months, Rotary International has lost 19,414 members, or 1.7% of our membership. And we've closed 352 clubs, or 0.96, just under 1% of our clubs. Rotaract, however, has lost 48,790 members. These, again, are college students or young professionals in Rotaract clubs. That comprises 42% of the Rotaract membership population in the last 15 months. And 2,442 Rotaract clubs, or 42%, have been terminated. So our club here, we have a tremendous heritage. We are one of the oldest, traditionally one of the largest Rotary clubs in the world. I don't know our current ranking. It'd be easy to check at RI. I know 2 years ago, we were still the 25th largest club out of 36,508 current clubs. So we continue to be one of the great stewards of Rotary. Certainly, we have an interest in our own club, but it's also a conversation for us to have about how we can help mentor and support our neighboring clubs and just keeping up the RI enterprise around the world. And let me segue into the next, because there's no one better to do that than our current district governor, Andy Eads. So Andy Eads, many of you may already know him because he happens to also serve as our Denton County judge. So for any of us who think it's difficult to do that job and have a career, he illustrates how easily it can be done. He started his career as a realtor. He was Rookie of the Year with RE/MAX. He perpetually showed up as a D Magazine top realtor. But clearly service is in his blood, not just Rotary, but public service. And I think it was around 2007, he joined the Commissioner's Court, and then 2018 until 2026, the current term, he is serving as our Denton County Judge. He started the Cross Timbers Rotary, and Jim Mall, our District Secretary, is here alongside. They're both from that club. That is a powerhouse club. They're relatively new. He'll tell you more about it. His wife also is very active. She's a past president of that club. She is a CPA, and she serves on the RI Finance Committee and the RI Investments Committee, and she's treasurer for a Rotary Action Group in Africa. So without further ado, District Governor Andy.
Well, hello, Cowtown. It is good to be with y'all today. I was just downstairs meeting with your wonderful mayor about all the great things that we're working on, collaborating on together, but it's great to be here. I want to give a big shout out to Sean Snell. She is awesome and she serves us so well. Sean, you truly are, you're an exceptional person, and every interaction with her is just excellent. You know, every time I deal with her, she's just excellent. She does a great job as our assistant governor, so thank you so much. Rebecca, it's good to see you again. We bumped into each other in Singapore. I'm like, at the Rotary International Convention, I said, well, hello, stranger. So I was glad to see you over there and supporting the foundation and getting to learn more about what Rotary International does. Well, I do want to acknowledge our district secretary, Jim Mall, the man who you get emails from day and night. So Jim is here. Thank you, Jim, for being here. And you know what? We have a very special guest, and I always think a visitor to Rotary is the most important person in the room. More than the club president, more than the assistant governor, more than the district governor. I think a guest and a prospective member is a very most important person. And I brought a prospective member with me today for your club. Is that okay? And so I would like for y'all I want to fully embarrass you, so you got to stand up. So Cash Barker, would you please stand? He's a friend of my family. He's a great young attorney here in downtown, and oil and gas attorney, and he's been interested in Rotary. And I said, okay, I'm coming to the Fort Worth Club this week, and I would love for you to come be a guest and everything. So I don't know about the theatrical production today. I don't know if that happens every week here. I don't think it happens every. And I said, Cash, is this your first Rotary Club meeting? And he's like, yes. I was like, okay, they're not all like this. So no, but that was he did a great job. Let's give him a hand. Where's our Phantom of the Opera? Thank you. I think if I had your good hair and bangs, I might have the confidence to get up and sing in front of everybody, but I don't, so I'm not. So it is great to be here. Speaking of charter dates, I did my own research, Sean, and y'all are 111 years old. Give yourself a big hand. July the 1st, you know, the Rotary year begins on July the 1, and so y'all didn't waste a minute. So y'all were chartered July 1 in 1913, 111 years ago. And it doesn't just happen that you're still in existence. You know, we lost the Brownwood Rotary Club during COVID. It was a centennial club. We lost the Gainesville Club recently, and it was a long-term club as well. We just lost the Stockyards Club. I mean, it is intentional. We have to be intentional about what we're doing to stay in businesses. And I'll tell you, as Sean was saying, Rotary is in decline, sadly, in North America. It's on the rise in the third world. In the developing countries, it's on the rise. In India, it's on the rise. Here in North America, Rotary's not unique in that. So many of our civic groups are facing their own specific challenges. That's why we have to be mindful about growing our membership, mindful about who we are inviting and that we are welcoming to all. And I will tell you, I did my research. So you remember the Rotary year starts July 1. And so July 1, 2023, we had y'all's club was reporting 298 members. You fast forward a year to this year to 7/1/24, we were from 298, we were down to 264. But guess what? There's the good news. You are back up to 280. Give yourself a big hand. Back up to 280 just in the last few months. Is Mayor Barr here today? Is Mayor Barr here? I was going to give a special shout out. He is your most tenured member at 55 years in this club. Yes. Mayor, if you're watching, I don't know where this video is going to, but we're super excited to have him here. Okay, this is one more special Fort Worth Rotary Club announcement. I looked it up. How much money has this club raised over these 111 years for the Rotary Foundation? Does anyone know that dollar amount? Am I the only one? Okay, y'all ready for this? In y'all's 111 years, y'all have raised $483,437 for the Rotary Foundation. Give yourself a big hand about that. I'm so pleased. We appreciate what y'all do for the foundation. We appreciate your legacy and your rich legacy of starting other clubs here in the district. And so what I thought we'd do today is I thought I would talk a little bit about my Rotary experience and my Rotary story. And because I want us all to be thinking about what is your Rotary experience? What is your Rotary story? Why are you coming here to this lovely facility, having this wonderful lunch, the best lunch I've had on my trail? Y'all are my 45th club that I've spoken to since July the 1st, and the second one today. And so in this big territory that we have, we call it District 5790. But really, what is your story? I'd like for you all to be thinking about today, why are you doing this? And understand why you're doing it so you can communicate that to other people. Why are you in Rotary? And encourage other people to join us in our Fellowship of Rotary. So then we're going to do that, make a couple of district announcements, and then we're going to do a fun exercise at the end. Is that okay? That's our plan today. But our first thing I would like to bring your attention to is this banner over here. And if you'll notice, it says Stephanie Urchick, and Stephanie Urchick is our Rotary International president this year, and I want to send official greetings from President Stephanie. She is our second female president of Rotary International since 1905. Our very first was 2 years ago, Jennifer Jones from Canada. You may remember Jennifer. She was a great leader. Last year we had Gordon McAnally, and this year we have Stephanie Urchick, and she is from Pennsylvania. She's a university professor there. And I love what her motto is. She says, you know what we need to do? We need to make Rotary irresistible. Let's make Rotary irresistible. And I like that motto. I think that we should all work to make Rotary truly irresistible. So on behalf of Stephanie, I want to send your greetings. And I'd like to also mention the theme of this year. Let's all put the hashtag The Magic of Rotary in all that we do on social media, so Rotary can find about what we're doing. And think about it. What is the magic of Rotary? What is the magic of Rotary? So many ways that Rotary is magical. But I will tell you, this is the last year, so take a picture of that banner. This is the last year that Rotary International is doing Rotary themes. Because they do lots of Rotary themes each year, but they decided to call that the end of the trail this year, so we're ending with the magic of Rotary. We're still going to have Rotary ties and scarves and commemorative pins, but we're kind of doing away with the, yes, they have Rotary ties. Somebody was laughing over there. So they're going to do away with that for marketing purposes to kind of stick to a consistent brand, a consistent theme. So we're supportive of that, but we are going to go out with a bang here with the magic of Rotary. But I thought I would do today is talk about my story. And my story with Rotary really began 31 years ago when I married Ginger Cunningham from Brownwood, Texas. And we got married on September the 25th, 1993, at the First United Methodist Church there in Brownwood. And, as you get married, you get to know the family and extended family. I got to know and love Ginger's grandmother, her maternal grandmother, Bess Patterson. And she said, Andy, Nana is really big into Rotary. And I said, well, what's Rotary? So she explained to me what Rotary was. And so as I got to know Nana, I realized how important Rotary really was to her. But the family's connection with Rotary really began many years earlier when Nana's father-in-law, Mr. Patterson, John Patterson, he was a carpenter and he built train depots all through Central Texas, and he was from San Saba, Texas. And he was a charter member of the San Saba, Texas Rotary Club in 1927. He was a charter member. So he began the family history with Rotary. And so he was in Rotary for many years. And after the war was over, his son, Nana's husband, John Patterson, he came home from the war and he joined his father in Rotary service at the San Saba Rotary Club. And he did that until his death in 1988. And 1980 was a big year for Rotary, because that's the year that the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that women could join Rotary International here in the United States of America. Isn't that a great milestone? Absolutely. So they allowed women into Rotary. That's the same time that Ginger's grandfather passed away in that Rotary Club. And that Rotary Club said to Ginger's grandmother, they said, Bess Patterson, you have been in this club you've been a Rotary Ann, the Women's Auxiliary to Rotary. You've been a Rotary Ann for decades, been a club secretary forever. We would like for you to be the very first female in the San Saba, Texas Rotary Club. She took that to heart, and she was very honored by that. And so she was in Rotary for all these many years. And between the two of them, they had 50 years, between Ginger's grandparents, 50 years, perfect attendance at the San Saba, Texas Rotary Club. It's such a big deal to her that when her later years, when she was in a hospital occasionally, they would pack up the Rotary Club and reconvene in her hospital room. Isn't that sweet? Don't you just love that? So that she could keep that perfect attendance. But before she got really old and sick, she would call Ginger when we were newlyweds. We were living in Louisville, and she would call and say, honey, I'm coming to Louisville next week, and can Andy take off work and take me to go do a makeup? And she'd say, hang on, Andy, can you take Nana to do a makeup? And I said, what's a makeup? And so she said, well, I'll tell you later. So I would take her for many years to the Flower Mound, Texas Rotary Club and to do a makeup. For many years, I'd take her once or twice a year, all these years, to go do a makeup. And I always wanted to be in the Rotary Club, but guess what? I was never invited. It's never invited. Think about the people that visit your club that are never invited. Think about the people that you know that you never invite. There is power in invitation. Am I right? There's power in invitation. So fast forward to 2001, and I did a career change, and Sean said Ginger's a CPA, and one of her clients said, I think Andy would be a great Rotarian. Why is he not in our Rotary Club, in the Flower Mound Rotary Club? She said, nobody's ever invited him. He said, well, consider it done. And so Dr. Tom Wickersham invited me to be a Flower Mound Rotarian in 2001. It was so great. You fast forward to 2007, I was the incoming club president, and we had a great tradition at that time to send the club president and their spouse to the Rotary International Convention. And I didn't get to go to Paris or Australia or anywhere. I got to go to Salt Lake City, Utah. And so I came over to DFW Airport. The boys were 7 and 5, and Caroline was 3 months old, and I rented a minivan, and we drove all the way to Salt Lake City, Utah, through the Grand Canyon to Four Corners, Monument Valley, got to the convention, and Ginger said, you go do your thing, I'll take care of the kids. And I came back to the room after 2 days of being at that convention. Who's been to a Rotary International Convention? Many people here. It's one of the most inspirational things you'll ever do. Am I right? And so I was there, and they parade in all the flags of all the countries from around the world. And you get to see the haves and the have-nots meeting out in the hall and networking and sharing, and how can we be a blessing to you? And my village needs wheelchairs. Well, guess what? We have a wheelchair factory in my hometown, and all that goodwill and energy, it was transpiring. And after 2 days of that convention, I went back to the room, and she said, Andy, I can tell something's on your mind. And I said, well, there is something on my mind. She said, what is it? I said, well, you know what, honey, I've tried to live my whole life to be a very faithful person and to be a very good person. And she said, yes, I know. And I said, after being at this convention for 2 days, I have a deep observation. She said, what is it? I said, I believe that Rotary does the work of the Lord for God's people here on earth more than any other organization. And she said, well, Mr. Eads, that's a big mouthful you got there. And I said, yeah, it is. And she said, what are you going to do with that keen observation that you have? I said, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it, but I do think that we're going to raise these kids, these 3 kids, to be upstanding citizens. That's number one. But number 2, I think I'm going to give my hobby time, my volunteer time, my extra time, talent and treasure to Rotary in some form or fashion. And so that we fast forward to 2015, and my secretary at the time, we were working up at the courthouse on the square. We had an idea to start a new Rotary Club at a new different day and time to meet on the morning instead of at lunchtime. It fit our schedule better. We chartered the Cross Timbers Rotary Club. And I came home and I said, Ginger, guess what? We're going to start this new Rotary Club. I'd like for you to be one of the founders of it. And she said, oh my God, that sounds so much fun. Can you believe, if that's 2015 and I got in Rotary in 2001, do the math there, that's 14 years I was in Rotary and I never thought to invite Ginger. She's the one who has the big family history, and I wasn't trying to exclude her. It's just something I never really thought of, y'all, right? And I said, well, come do this journey with me together. And she said, okay, that sounds fun. So there was 5 of us, 5 founders, and we locked ourselves in a bank conference room and got out our phones and started building a Rotary Club that we chartered with 62 people. About 2 months later, we chartered that Rotary Club. It was 62 people. And over that time, we have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for our own foundation at that club, hundreds of thousands of dollars for the Rotary National Foundation. We've grown it to 140 members in 9 years, 140 members in 9 years. And I think about all the good that we've done because we were bold and we embraced the power of invitation. We invited other people to join us in this pursuit of what we call Rotary, because we got out our phones and invited our friends to come have fun with us. And we're helping to change the world, change Flower Mound, change Denton County, change North Texas, change the world. And one of the things I think is great about Ginger's service to Rotary is, Sean said she's on the Rotary Finance Committee, which is like Ginger and 12 men from around the world who help plan the finances of Rotary and consult with the board. But what I think is the best is, there's about 24 Rotary action groups around the world of loosely knit people who focus on water and economic development, the environment, different initiatives, the literacy. And Ginger is the treasurer of a Rotary Action Group based in South Africa. And they work in 5 countries in Africa, and they go in kind of like Doctors Without Borders, and they go and advertise far and wide through all the countryside that the medical teams are coming to town. And I get to hear her every Thursday morning when I'm getting ready for work. I get to hear her on a Zoom call with the headquarters in South Africa. She's a treasurer, and I was privileged to watch her work with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and get the millions of dollars for the good work they're doing in Africa. And as I'm in there shaving and getting ready to go to the Denton County Courthouse, I hear her talk about the great work they're doing and transferring the money to all the different accounts and all the different banks in those developing countries. And I think, I may never go to the shores of Africa. I may never go down that dirt road to that village. I may never be in those 5 countries. I may never meet those people. And these are people, these doctors and medical teams are meeting with children who have never, ever seen a doctor. People our age that have never seen a doctor, seniors who have never seen a doctor. And I think, as I'm getting ready, I think the magic of Rotary is that because I invited Ginger to be in our Rotary Club and to join me in Rotary, because I asked her to join me in service to Rotary, I am touching the shores of Africa. I am touching those people in the villages that I may never go to those 5 countries. And think back to Ginger's great-grandfather, 97 years ago when he joined Rotary, he started that family tradition, that legacy. 97 years ago, that carpenter, he was blind. He went early in his life. He was a blind carpenter. Can you imagine being a blind carpenter? How do you measure that? But he did. He supported his family. That blind carpenter from San Saba, Texas, 97 years ago, through the family line and through Rotary, he's touching the shores of Africa from San Saba, Texas. He never left the state of Texas. He was a simple man. He stayed right here. He's through his lineage and through Rotary service. That's the magic of Rotary. So think about 97 years from now, are you going to have an impact in the world? Are you going to have an impact here in Fort Worth? Are you going to have an impact in Africa and India and China and all around the world? How can you be a blessing to the world? You be a blessing by starting today, by inviting other people and embracing the power of invitation. That is truly the magic of Rotary, and that's why I stand before you today talking about the importance of including other people. A couple of things I would like to talk about as far as district information and stuff is that we're having a foundation gala. We talk about how can we be a blessing to the world. One of the ways that we can do that is support our foundation, which I have a rich history of doing. And we're bringing Gordon McInally. Remember I told you Gordon McInally was our Rotary International president last year? Well, I've got a chance to know him. He lives in Scotland, and I called him. I said, do you mind coming to Fort Worth and do a speech for me? And he said, Andy, anything for you. And I said, good answer. And so he is coming on November the 9th, and we're coming to Texas Motor Speedway, which is in the city limits of Fort Worth. It's in Denton County, but we're so excited that it's up there. It is. Is it the truth? It is fair to all concerned. It's in Fort Worth in Denton County. So anyway, Gordon's coming in, so he's coming in. He was gone. Let me tell you about the schedule of a Rotary National President. He was only home 4 days in all of last year, the last Rotary year, 4 days in Scotland. He was around the world gone. And so we got a couple of daughters, and Heather, his sweet wife, and I said, okay, are they ready for you to be back on the road? So could you come over here? So anyway, we're so excited to have Gordon come join us. And so I'd love to have a really strong presence from Fort Worth Rotary Club there as we celebrate the foundation and what we're doing. So I'd love for you to support. So gift baskets and some live auction items. I know there's some assets and some live auction items here in this organization and in this club, and I'd love to have y'all participate in that. That's going to be a super, super fun night. Leave a Legacy is one of the campaigns that we're working on, and that is we're basically trying to raise $1 million over the next few months to have $1 million dinner gala that's going to be in May. And we've kicked this off with July 1 of this new Rotary year. And so our district raises about $500,000 annually for the Rotary Foundation, about $500,000. So we're looking to raise $1 million special for the district, and we're looking to raise it in increments of a minimum of $10,000. You say, Andy, I'm out. I'm not going to do that. We're not going to have other priorities. So there's different ways you can do it. You can do a $10,000 pledge that's going to be paid out over the next 3 years. You can do an outright gift of $10,000 in cash or other stocks, bonds, other liquid assets, or you can do what I'm doing, and don't tell my 3 kids, is that we're going to do a bequest, okay? We're going to do a bequest. At our passing, our estate is going to do $10,000. And so we realize that people may not have the resources right now, but maybe one day you'll have those resources. And so we're asking for 100 people to pledge or give outright a bequest or an outright gift of $10,000. And so guess what? We have already raised $530,000. Isn't that great? Yes, so we're halfway there. We're halfway there. as you get the emails, you get information about it, I would ask that you visit with your spouse, visit with your family, and carefully give that consideration. Give that consideration if this is an opportunity for you to be a participant. So those members, those Rotarians in District 5790 that are going to join us in this call and participate in that, we're going to have a very special appreciation dinner in May as a thank you for all those individuals for doing that. So I do want to mention that. Is anyone from the Fort Worth Club going on our cruise? We're having a cruise, a district cruise. We have over 100 people going over President's Day weekend to our cruise. We're going to be leaving out of Galveston, going to Cozumel. We're going to do a hands-on service project there on the island, or you can go to the beach, and there's no guilt, no shame, no foul. So you can go do that. It's Rotary Fellowship, and that's exactly what we want. But we are asking that all of our clubs participate in this hands-on service project by helping us stuff backpacks. So we're going to give you all a pack list and stuff backpacks for the over 100 Rotarians from our district that are going. They're going to take these backpacks and drop those off with the Cozumel Rotary Club right there at the dock and be a blessing to them. So I would love for Fort Worth to be included in that wonderful process. I was talking to Julie earlier before I came in here. I think I missed a prayer and pledge, but I got to have a great visit with Julie and Mayor Parker. I'm going to get her to join this Rotary Club. Y'all like that? I'm going to ask her. Yes, Maddie, if you're watching, I'm going to ask you to join. She needs to be a member of this club. But we're talking about food insecurity. Food insecurity is a real priority, not only for Denton County, it's for Tarrant County, it's for our whole region and our nation. It's a real deal. So I'm asking that all of our clubs have a real eye this year to focus on food insecurity projects, whether they're small or large projects, if y'all could work on that. And then finally, I would like to talk about our time, talent, and treasure, okay? And think about that. And Jim's gonna be passing out a form. I think Sean might help him. Get Cash, he's our rookie here. He's our future Red Badger. He maybe help. No, it's okay. We won't make him work. We're going to pass out some forms here. And I've done this exercise at 44 other Rotary clubs. And someone said, are you going to do the Fort Worth Club, that big, fancy Fort Worth Club? I said, absolutely. Absolutely, we're all going to do this. And so, okay, we think about all of us have time, talent, and treasure, don't we? We all have time. I can't volunteer Rebecca's time or talent or treasure. That's something personal to you, exactly. But, you know, we think about our time for Rotary, our talent that we can share with Rotary, and our treasure that we can share with Rotary. And I would ask that each of us think about what can we do for Rotary with our time, our talent, and our treasure this year. Not when we retire, not when the kids get out of school, but this year, what capacity do you have to advance Rotary through your time, your talent, and your treasure? Each of us have different, that is very unique and different to each and every one of us, but we all have something that is common to all of us, that is common and universal, and that is that we can all invite people to be a Fort Worth Rotarian. All of us can do that. And so remember when I talked about how the 5 of us got in a room and we sat in that room and we got out our telephones? That's exactly what we're going to do for the next 7 minutes. We're going to do this for the next 7 minutes. As I'm asking y'all to get, if you need a fountain pen, we got a fountain pen right here. We'll get you a fountain pen. And I'm going to ask that y'all fill out these forms. And this is what we're going to do with these forms. They are not going to the district. I am not going to see them. But you are going to turn them in today. There's no homework today. This is all to be done right here at the lunch hour during study hall. Okay, we're going to do it right here. Y'all have honest faces, but I don't trust you to turn them back in. So we're going to do it. We're going to do what we've done with every Rotary Club. We have generated 1,500 leads for this district, and there's only 2,500 Rotarians. We've generated 1,500 leads of people, Rotarians, and I've gone and spoken to their club, and they said, I believe in Rotary, I'm going to want to sponsor somebody, and I'm putting their name down because I'm going to work to advance Rotary by inviting other people and embracing the power of invitation. The power of invitation. So this is a simple step. It's 2-part, and it's super easy. Think about people that you would like to spend more time with. Who is someone that you know that's in your phone that you just love them to death and you'd like to spend more time with them? Who is someone that says, next time we need to get together? When are we going to get together? One of your friends, when are we going to get together? Who's your neighbor? Who's your, if you still want to see your spouse in the more, some people aren't to that point. But if you still want to say, hey, invite your spouse, invite your grown kid, invite your neighbor. Who are people that are in your phone that you would like to spend more time with? And number 2, this is the second criteria. Do they live and work and operate by the 4-way test, right? Not everyone we know would be a qualified member because they may not live and operate and do their business by the four-way test. So who is someone you'd like to spend more time with, and who lives and operates and works by the four-way test? So I trust that we're going to go through this exercise. Did you have a form? Do you have a form? Where's your form? He needs a form. We need more forms over here. We're doing an altar call here. All right, so we need to make sure you have your form here. So fill these out over the next couple of minutes. Be thinking through, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to turn these back in. We're going to turn these back in, and Rebecca and her team, the board, and your membership chair, they're going to work through that list, and you're going to have your own membership campaign. But we're putting pens to paper. It's amazing that people have said, this is revolutionizing my club, because I never thought about putting pen to paper and just doing it. And we're doing it right here. We're not talking about it. We're not going to plan for it. We're going to do it right here. Who are some people in your club that can invite other people? And this is something that each and every one of us can participate in. You know, I tell you, it doesn't have to be the bank president. It doesn't have to be the superintendent of schools. It doesn't have to be the county judge. I'll tell you a story. Both my boys went to Texas Tech. I have a 24-year-old and a 22-year-old. And my younger boy, he worked for 2 years at an assisted living home out there in Lubbock called Raider Ranch. And every day, a little man came in because his wife lived there at the facility, and he still lived at the home place. And Mr. Bell came in and would visit with my son every day. And he said to Addison, he goes, "Son, I think you would be a great Rotarian. Why don't you join me at the Lubbock, Texas Rotary Club next week?" As we meet on Wednesdays at the Methodist Church. And he said, "Okay, I would love to. Actually, my mom and dad are in Rotary. I think it'd be a great thing to pursue." He said, "Come join me." He took him to the Rotary Club. He's a 20-year-old kid. Took him to the Rotary Club, introduced him around. They were so warm and welcoming, they invited him to be a member of the Rotary Club. Isn't that a great story? 20-year-old kid. Now listen to this. This was the same year that Texas Tech University turned 100. It's the same year that the Lubbock Rotary Club turned 100. And Addison was the very first kid in the history of that club that was an active student of Texas Tech University. So think about 100 years of missed opportunity. 100 years of Texas Tech students. He didn't invite him because he was the manager of the facility. He invited him because he saw something in him for a heart for service. A 20-year-old kid. Not that he was going to even live in Lubbock for a long time or be a long-term member of that club, but he sparked an interest and planted a seed of service in him that maybe his mom and dad could not have inspired him to do. We never asked him to join. But he was excited because Mr. Bell saw something in him and said, "Addison, I want you to be a Rotarian." And so we went out for his induction. He was so excited. He's still excited about Rotary. He's since moved back, and he's starting his career path, and he's trying to find the right Rotary Club that fits him. And you know what I told him at his induction? I said, "Son, you are 20 years old, and with your lifespan and your life expectancy of your generation, you could be a Rotarian for 70 years. I will always be appreciative of Mr. Bell for seeing something in my son," who was the front desk guy. He called me, he was excited about applying for the job. He goes, "Dad, I'm gonna be the concierge." What does that mean? You're the front desk boy. That's French for front desk boy. Think about the front desk boy in your life. Think about people who office at home. Since COVID, lots of people are officing at home. And they would love to probably get up and go to one of the most beautiful ballrooms in the whole city with all these wonderful community leaders and have a great lunch and music and all that, and singing and masks and comedy. I love how y'all do your little news alert. Someone would probably love to be a part of that. They may office at home. This might be their one outing of the week, and they love it. And this is their big thing. Rotary is their new big thing. Think about people that office at home. Those are great prospects. Great prospects. As we close, I'm going to open the floor. Is there any questions y'all have about Rotary as you're filling out your forms? And we're going to turn in to Rebecca and the leadership. Is there anyone here any questions about Rotary? Yes, sir.
I'm a lifelong Fort Worthian, real proud of our city. I may be speaking out of turn, but what would we do to host the Rotary International Conference here in Fort Worth?
Perfect. I love that question. The question is, what can we do to get the RI convention here? I love that idea, and I'm going to set my hand to that. I think that is great. I will be happy to visit with Tom Gump is going to be the new RI. He's going to be on the board of directors representing our zone, okay, for this. And our zone goes from Canada through Illinois, through Minneapolis, all the way down. It kind of skips Oklahoma, comes in and gets most of Texas. So Tom is our point person. He's about to get on the board. He's a dear friend of mine. And I will talk to him about helping us to champion that cause. And I would love to have the RI convention here. I think it'd be a great venue. I would love to work. They work on about 5 years out. So it's going to be in Minneapolis. It's going to be in Calgary, Canada this year. So it's in our time zone. So remember, we were like 16 time zones away when we were over there in Singapore, but it's going to be actually in our time zone. I encourage you all to go to that. But it's several years out, but I'll be happy to, that's a great idea. And we'll put together a host committee and try to figure out how we can make those next steps to do the pitch on that. Yes, sir.
The head of Visit Fort Worth is a member of this club.
Perfect.
He ought to be.
We'll get together. We'll do, Rebecca can do some connections with us, and we'll be happy. Yeah, that's a long lead time, and I think it's a worthy and noble enterprise. Let's set our hand to that. Any other questions? Great question. All right, are you filling out your forms? Are y'all working on your forms to turn in? Okay, thank y'all so much. Y'all were great, Fort Worth.
Judge Eads, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here today. We do have a token for you of appreciation for your time, and in your name, we're giving a donation to the Rotary Polio Plus Foundation.
We'll do a picture here. All right, Jim. Good, thank you.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. And I have to say, I love that statement, the power of invitation. It's that simple, the power of invitation. I can't wait to see everybody's lists of who you recommend. I thought that was a great exercise. Thank you so much, Judge, for helping us. And don't forget to sign up. We have a few announcements. Take out your phones. We have some QR codes. As you heard, the Rotary District Gala at Texas Motor Speedway coming up, racing into the magic of Rotary. November 9th. Our Rotary Board members, we will see you today at 1:15. Good times in the President's Conference Room on the 11th floor. And next week, you won't want to miss the Right to Read documentary, a Tarrant Literacy Initiative. Overview with Caroline James. Have a great weekend, everyone. We are adjourned.